About salmonella, right? So let me read first what's written in our notes. It's written that this salmonella, right? Salmonella is a species, and enterica it comes under subspecies. That means you have a subspecies of enterica, and salmonella is a species, right? And now let us understand that it's a human pathogen. That means it's gonna disturb us, right? It's gonna affect us. So, all salmonellas are motile except you got something known as Salmonella gallinarum and you have got Salmonella pulorum, right? These Salmonella gallinarum and Salmonella pulorum, right? Pulorum is non-motile. So, before going in detail, let me show you the structure of these Salmonella. You can see the Salmonella here, right? So these are the salmonellas who have motile, right? You can observe this, right? In the sense they have got a flagella, so you can they are motile. But you have got other types of salmonella, right? Salmonella gallinarum, a Salmonella pulorum. So these type of these type of salmonella, if you see, it is non-motile. What is that? It is non-motile. So now you got an idea like how the salmonella, how the flagella looks, and now let us understand that you have got a different serotypes, right? Different serotypes. So now let us understand what are these serotypes. And these salmonella are of two types. The few salmonella they cause typhoid fever, and few do not cause typhoid fever. So let us understand what are the salmonellas which causes typhoid fever. The salmonella which causes these typhoid fevers are Salmonella typhi, and you got Salmonella paratyphi A, you got Salmonella paratyphi B, right? I repeat once again, we got a salmonella. Salmonella are of two types, that is typhoid salmonella which causes typhoid, and you have got few other salmonella which do not cause this typhoid, right? Non-typhoidal salmonella. That. So what are the species, or what are the salmonellas which comes under this typhoidal salmonella? These are Salmonella typhi, most common typhus, most common typhoid fever is because of this, right? Because of this, most common cause is Salmonella typhi. Then you have got Salmonella paratyphi, then you have got Salmonella paratyphi B. So next you have got a non-typhoidal salmonella. So what are these which are non-salmonella typhoidal salmonella? So non-typhoidal salmonella are, you have Salmonella typhimurium, right? You have got Salmonella typhimurium, and you have got Salmonella coleoriasis, right? Coleoriasis, right? So that is what you have to understand regarding this. And normally reservoir is human, right? Human reservoir. So that is what you have to understand. But right now let us study about these non-typhoidal salmonella, what's present in our notes, right? So so you can see this, a non-typhoidal salmonella, right? Let me read first, then let's know the concepts. It's written that it's gonna cause gastroenteritis. What is gastroenteritis? Gastroenteritis is an inflammation of a stomach or intestine, right? Typically resulting in because of some bacteria, right? Just remember that gastrointestinal means inflammation of stomach and intestine. And next we have got, let us understand how these salmonella causes the effect, right? How the salmonella causes these gastroenteritis, all such, like how the inflammation is happening, right? So let's go with these. You got a salmonella. What's written here is it destroys intestinal epithelial cells. Okay, fine. So macrophages increases the interleukin 8. Okay. Then you have got selectin express extravasation of neutrophils. Okay. No blood or mucus. Okay. Then you have got neutrophils. Then bone marrow more it's secreted. Okay. Increase. Okay, fine. What is it trying to tell? Okay. He's trying to tell that the mechanism of this is normally when we consume, right, through the orophycal, when it enters the salmonella, when it enters, right, when it enters inside it passes through the stomach, right? Then it goes to the duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. And suppose this is the ileum, right? You got a Peyer's patches, right? You got a Peyer's patches there. So now let me show you the structure of these intestinal cells with these salmonella and the Peyer's patch, right? So let me take this structure out. Let me take this structure out. So when I take the structure out and show you, so it has got, right? You got this villi, microvilli, right? You got a mucosa, you got a muscular mucosa, then you got a submucosa, and you have got these areas you got muscles. Now let us understand that you got something a blue one, right? These are the lymphoids, right? These are the lymphoids. These are Peyer's patches. These are Peyer's patches. And now let me take this section which has a villi, right? A cells and the Peyer's patch. So let me show you that let me take this structure, how it's gonna affect now, right? Let me go tell you that. So right now you have got a blood vessels here, also you got a Peyer's patch, and here you have a cells. So these are the cells of the enterocytes here, right? You got a cells here. So in this aspect, if you observe carefully, now we got a salmonella at this aspect, and these salmonella enters the blood, right? Enters these cells, and you can see the destruction of these cells here. The cells have been destroyed. Cells have been destroyed. As I told you that in the submucosa, you have gotten Peyer's patches. So what does it do? It enters into the Peyer's patch. But remember that when the bacteria, right, when the bacteria enters, right, bacteria enters, you have got it's taken by these antigen presenting cells, taken by the antigen presenting cells, and they present to the lymph nodes. They present to the lymph nodes. Now what happens in salmonella is, if you observe carefully, right, these are the Peyer's patches. Now this bacteria enters into that lymph nodes, right? It enters into the lymph nodes, and once this, let me show you that lymph node, that Peyer's patch here. So these are the Peyer's patches. Right now it has entered here. So right, you can see a lot of multiplication of these bacilli at this aspect, right? And these, then who is taking that? Who is taking to the lymph nodes? Who is taking that? These are the antigen presenting cells, right? These are the antigen presenting cells. These macrophages, these antigen presenting cells, they are taking these bacteria to the Peyer's patches, to the Peyer's patches. And right now, once these antigen presenting cells take these bacteria, these salmonella, to the Peyer's patches, it gives to the T cells, and T cells activate and it produce interleukins, then interleukins activate macrophages, then such process happens. So during the process of that interleukin activation, you can find there is you got an interleukin 8 is also produced, and this interleukin 8 which is produced at this aspect, right, at this aspect, it calls the neutrophils which is present in the blood vessels to enter. So right now you have got a blood vessels, right? So it has entered. Now we have to observe that at this area you have got a lot of pus also, because associated pus, because of these interleukins, they are attracting the neutrophils. So that's what it's written. It's written that, let me read what's written first. So it causes gastroenteritis. The mechanism is spread by fecal-oral route. It enters into the Peyer's patch and multiply and secrete interleukin 8, and these interleukin 8 attracts neutrophils, right? And it is associated with pus due to increased interleukin A. And you have to observe that there is no antibiotics treatment. Then we are not giving any antibiotics here, because it has no effect on the disease outcome, right? You are not supposed to give antibiotics if you have a gastroenteritis which is caused by this salmonella, right? You are not going to give that antibiotics, because it has got no effect on the disease outcome, right? It's not, but you have a problem, right? When if you start giving antibiotics, so it increases fecal shedding of salmonella. So once it increases the fecal shedding of salmonella, there will be an outbreak. So you have to be very careful. You are not supposed to give antibiotics a person who has gastroenteritis which is caused by this salmonella species, Salmonella typhoidum. Okay, so we have to be very careful, and that's what it's written. That hope you understood that you have got two serotypes, salmonella, we didn't speak about this, and non-typhoidal, and you have got this, how it causes gastroenteritis, right? So now let us understand that. Now let us speak regarding this typhoidal species, right? So let us speak regarding this typhoidal species, and let me read what's written, right? First let me read what's written. So it's written that you have this typhoidal salmonella. They cause enteric fever. Right, means other name of enteric fever is typhoidal fever. So let me tell you that it's gonna cause it, the person who have been affected with this typhoidal species, typhoidal salmonella. You got a fever, you have a bradycardia, you got a rose spots, and it's diarrhea or constipation, Pierce patch, second lymphoid organs, lymphadenopathy, hepatosplenomegaly, then you have got neutropenia, then so check blood samples, then absolute eosinopenia, right? So let me tell you the basic pathophysiology, what's happening at this aspect, right? What's happening here? So you can observe here, right? This is what now uh, once the salmonella enters, right, salmonella enters into the stomach right now, and right now it is in the intestine. You know that you got a Peyer's patch. In the Peyer's patch it starts multiplying. As you know, there is a system known as enterohepatic system. So through this enteroportal system it enters into the liver. So once it enters into liver, it goes to the heart. From there it goes to aorta and it spreads to different organs. So now let us correlate this pathophysiology to these signs and symptoms. So I've told you that now there is entry of salmonella. It has entered into the stomach, then the ileum, it has gone to Peyer's patch. In the Peyer's patch it has replicated, it has multiplied. So once it has multiplied here, now you know that entire ileum, all those, right, you got a portal supply, then it reaches to liver. From the liver through this inferior vena cava, it enters into right atrium, then right ventricle, lungs, and finally it goes out through this aorta and to the different parts. So now let us understand how these symptoms are caused, right? So let me tell you that the first one you have to observe that the first thing what's gonna affect, it's gonna affect the Peyer's patch. So once it affects the Peyer's patch here, so once it affects, guys, let's see you next time. 1 minute, someone has come.